Dashboard Effect podcast. I'm Rick Thompson.
I'm Caleb Oakes.
Caleb, in our last episode, we looked at a report by Salesforce. If you didn't hear that or are interested in looking that up, you can refer to the last episode around data and a survey of about 10,000 data executives, IT executives. We thought this week we'd look at a report that came out of AWS. And this report is titled CDO Agenda 2024, Navigating Data and Generative AI Frontiers. And if you Google that, it'll send you right to the download link from AWS. Again, it's a survey of a bunch of CDOs. I think general survey plus some deep interviews of a few of them. But it was pretty interesting what they came up with. Yeah. And so we thought today we'd just talk through some of the key findings there.
Yeah, our take on them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, all right. So looking at the key learnings up front, sort of summary, it was interesting that number one is creating visible value is still a key focus for many CDOs. And we do hear that from our clients that sometimes there's a struggle to show, how what they're doing actually is delivering value.
Right.
I think, or at least they're worried about that. 44% of CDOs still define success as achieving business objectives as opposed to technical accomplishments, which is only 3%, which is great. But they have to make sure to do that in a way that's visible.
Yeah, and they're saying that the analytics and AI are keys to doing that. So,
exactly.
But I think that's really important. I think that we see that all the time. Like you need to show some value. You could work all day kind of in the weeds and actually make some real solid improvements to your kind of data foundation and how your business operates. But if it's not visible to your business, then people are like, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So CDOs need to make sure that their contributions are visible. They're very enthusiastic about the potential of generative AI, but their biggest roadblock that they see is data quality, also finding the right use cases.
Yep.
And we're seeing this as we're talking to people. It's very clear that even though data quality may be meeting the needs right now where it is, it's going to need to be better for the generative AI. It's the garbage in, garbage out that we talked about last time.
Yeah, right. In the last episode, we also talked about just some, real briefly, some strategies of how you can, tactically start cleaning up your data quality, right? First step is just identifying it. Then you can... And there's we've tons of episodes, so I won't reiterate all those, but about how you can use like a data platform to start cleaning that stuff up.
Right. And a high percentage of the CDOs that they surveyed, 57%, thought that data strategy is crucial to generative AI success. So everybody is thinking about generative AI. It's not quite ready for prime time on all use cases yet, but it's getting better fast. It's great for some use cases already. Data analytics, as we're reviewing things, not quite ready for prime time, interesting to play with, but improving quickly. Yeah. And so it's going to be important to have your data house in order for that.
I think what's also interesting about both of these reports, this one and the Salesforce one, is that the underlying theme is that people that work in data every day, like us, recognize the need that this generative AI needs that data in order to make this work. And there's work to be done in order to get that data ready, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's saying that. So, for the people that don't necessarily work in data every day, generative AI is not the silver bullet. There's work that has to be done on that data front first in order to really take advantage and not be let down when the generative AI tools come out that are, consumer ready and ready to be used on your data, so that you have that it actually does work for you.
It's ready.
Right? Yeah.
You've done the consolidation of your data sources. You've created the relationships between them. You've cleaned them up. You've created good data models, semantic layers, so that people and the AIs can find the data they're looking for.
Right.
You've thought about defining the measures and KPIs that are unique to your company. So again, the generative AI is giving the right answers. There's a bunch to do.
Yeah. And we have a couple more points to talk about in this report, but generally overall, I think that's kind of what stuck out to me as I've read these things, is that they're all just saying there's work to be done on your data before you're ready for generative AI.
And get it ready.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming soon, I think. I mean, none of us knows exactly when, But there are things like the Power BI Copilot that are in preview right now with enterprises. And we think that it'll be in preview with just about everybody by the end of the first quarter. I think that's what Satya said at his keynote at the Ignite.
Ignite, there you go.
That's what Satya Nadella was saying at the Ignite conference, that everybody should have access by the end of the first quarter.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So what are some of the other conclusions?
Yeah. So down to some of the keys where for succeeding as a CDO, according to this report. Number one is constantly look for ways to add visible value to your organization. We already talked about that, right? That seems like an obvious one. But really, kind of the ways to do that is, we talked about in the last episode too, but make incremental improvements, right? Be ready to iterate on things. That will show that there's progress and that there's value being delivered. You don't have to wait till it's perfect.
Right. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, and there's more along that too. I mean, take a use case by use case approach is also really important along the same lines. Don't feel like you have to create this canonical, huge, you've covered everything at once. In fact, you're almost doomed to failure if you do that. Pick the use cases that you know have high value. Go after those. You're going to learn a ton. It's going to cause you to figure out how to get your data in order. You're going to figure out how to use these AI tools better, and then just keep adding them.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's really important. Is just start knocking them off the list. You don't need to have a huge monolithic plan that's going to get your data in a better place. Just start case by case.
Yeah. Another point in their conclusions was don't abandon existing data and analytics and AI initiatives in favor of generative AI, but add it to the mix. So the stuff you've got actually is probably a long way towards what you need. Maybe you're 80% there. Maybe you're 20% there. I mean, we see it all over the place. Don't throw it away and start again, but figure out how you're going to bring generative AI into the mix and how you're going to get your current platform and infrastructure ready for that, data infrastructure.
That's a really interesting point, because I think there's this other train of thought, which is generative AI is just going to replace all of that. And maybe someday it will, but I think it's a ways off. And this stuff, like you said, is going to go a long ways. Your existing analytics and stuff is going to go a long ways to taking advantage of that AI when it's ready.
Well, it's an interesting point. And as you were saying it made me realize that all of this work to prep your data and make your data super high quality for generative AI has benefit whether generative AI ever shows up or not.
That's a great point.
It's going to, but even if it didn't, you'd be in a way better position to add value to the organization.
Right. That's a really good point. The other one that came out, or that stuck out to me, was adopt a common platform for data analytics and machine learning features for the organization to use.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we talk about, episode in and episode out, is get your data into a common place, right?
Right. And obviously AWS, who produced this report, is saying, come to our platform.
Right.
We're, we've done work on AWS and it's fine. We're Microsoft platform guys, so we're in Azure, Synapse, Fabric is now the thing. I think there's huge advantages to being in that common platform. And in fact, some of the work we do is help people corral their data into a common platform. The companies, we talked a little bit about this in our last episode, but the companies that kludge together a data stack, I think, are doing themselves a disservice. Even though you might find a utility that's better than something that's in your common platform to do a particular little piece, you're creating potential problems for yourself around security, around finding people who can maintain it, around changes that happen to one platform that affect the other platform. Right. I think if you're a mid-market company or bigger, you need to be on a common platform.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just going to make your life a lot easier, and it reduces your overhead by more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another page that sticks out to me. I think it's just kind of interesting. It's not totally along the lines of the data piece, but I think it's interesting and it's worth mentioning. The question is, which generative use cases is your company prioritizing? The top 3 are customer operations, like a customer support or like a chatbot.
Chats, yeah.
Overall personal productivity, so like just somebody using it to draft an email or something, right? And then the other one is like coding sidekicks, like GitHub Copilot.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really in here that is like analytic or really that focus in here. So it just, I guess what that tells me is that we're just not there yet.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we've seen good examples yet. We've seen the code interpreter in OpenAI that do some cool stuff, and you can build some okay looking visualizations, and you can get some analysis on small data sets. You can even get it to write SQL queries for you and do stuff, but it's not. It's more for the bleeding edge user, not for the general business user yet.
Yeah, someone who's going to put up with kind of the kinks, right?
Yeah. And I think that'll be coming soon. I mean, obviously, the holy grail as a business user can just do a natural language request to the AI and get really accurate, good, useful information back.
Yeah,
that's what we're waiting for, and that's what we're encouraging our customers to get their data in order for.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the meantime, use Tableau, use Power BI, use whatever on top of that curated data. Yeah. But as those tools get better, you'll be able to take advantage of them.
Show that value, make that value visible.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of AI-like stuff like machine learning that's available now that works great. And having that consolidated, clean data allows you to take advantage of those right now too.
Right.
But I think as everybody's really talking about AI right now, it's the generative stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You're right.
All right. Anything else from that you wanted to touch on?
I think that's it.
All right. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you.